Christmas is coming and the Championship's taking shape. Wolves are top of the tree, but barely a bauble separates the next two, who meet here today. City are getting serious. They've cancelled their Christmas party, the players that is, and they can send out a message to their promotion rivals here today. But Reading are hot on their heels and can leapfrog the Blues into second for the first time since September, and they are back in form. In the Coca-Cola Championship, it's second against third. Birmingham City, who've won their last three at home, against a Reading side who won their last four matches. We're live from St Andrews on Sky Sports 1 and in high definition on HD1 channel 408. And a big boost for Birmingham today. James McFadden and Seb Larsson both returning from groin injuries, and a change up front as well. Cameron Jerome is a new partner for Kevin Phillips, starting his first in 9 games. They'll be trying to find a way past Reading's Australian keeper Adam Federici, who starts just his second game, his second in a row as well for Reading. And Steve Coppell's put great faith in youth as well, in James Henry, 19 years old, who starts on the right-hand side of midfield for them today. Very good afternoon to you from St Andrews. We are exactly halfway through the race for promotion, and while Wolves are some way out in front, just 1 point separates Birmingham and Reading in that race for second place in the moment. And remember these two as well, trying to get back at the very first attempt. Maybe it might be wise to put Christmas shopping on hold for the afternoon. We're delighted our guest for this afternoon, Dion Dublin, has done just that. Dion, welcome. How significant is today's game?
I think it's a huge game. I really do think it's a huge game for both sides. You know, it takes Birmingham within 3 if they get the right result. Reading close the gap, and I just feel it'd be more of a psychological boost for the teams if they can put one over on rivals for promotion. I think, you know, that the table's so close, you know, there's only sort of like, you know, I don't know, 7 points to the top. I think it's a psychological thing more than anything else. If they know that they can beat this team here today, whoever it may be, it's got to be great for them.
Will they treat it like a cup final, do you think, Dion?
Yeah, I think they should. Whether they will or not, I think they should. I think it's that kind of game. It's a one-off. It's going to be a great atmosphere today, we hope. And Reading are very consistent side. Not pretty. They're just very rigid, very workmanlike. Got a couple of good individuals that can do a bit of magic. Birmingham, their experience is just endless. But I'm just edging one way, I'll tell you later.
Well, interestingly, Alex McLeish has been saying that he expects from all the what the pundits and plaudits have been saying, that Reading will start as favourites. He feels they haven't perhaps got the credit they deserve for the work they've put in so far. Yeah,
possibly. I think Reading are, you know, I used to play for Norwich, and Norwich are the same sort of side. They just go about their business and just get on with it. Norwich are having a bad time. Reading are having a good time. They're just going about their business, not shouting about it, just creeping up the table, and that's the kind of side that may just edge the promotion race over Birmingham. But I just can't see beyond the strength in depth at Birmingham. It's just, I look at the players and I think, well, I played against them guys in the Premier League, so their experience is incredible.
And they have brought back more experience today. Let's hear about that. Alex McLeish with Greg Whelan.
Alex, Cameron Jerome starts up front today instead of Marcus Bent. Tell us what your thinking is there.
Well, I think we have to utilise the squad. I have to keep morale up of other players. You know, Marcus, I think, has started 8 games in a row and done well for us, but there's been a bit of the sniffles around the last couple of weeks. Marcus was one of those as well, and I want to keep everybody fresh, on their toes. And I think, to be fair to Cameron, he deserves a little crack at it. He's made an impact coming off the bench. He's knuckled down. He's not been kicking the door down, not been moaning about it. And as I said, it's important to keep the morale of the whole squad up and not just 11 players.
You've got James McFadden and Seb Larsson back after injury. What difference does that make to your team?
Well, experience, the know-how, James's technical ability, Seb's fantastic crossing ability, work rate, and James, looking at his game against Wolves a couple of weeks ago when his groins were starting to plague him, I thought he had his best game for the club in that position.
Thanks for your time, Adam.
Thank you, Greg.
Well, the Birmingham fans enjoying the pre-match entertainment here. Steel band, which is drowning out me and Dion as well. Barely hear each other up here. From what Alex McLeish is saying, he's brought back that experience today. Do you expect Birmingham to go at it, to be positive against the Reading side, who haven't conceded in 5.5 hours?
Yeah, I do. I fully expect Birmingham to come out all guns blazing. It's not a game where you can sit back and see what happens. It's not a game you can see, let's see what Reading have got. It's not that kind of game. I know Alex McLeish he'll go for it. I'm hoping he's going to go for it.
Do you get the feeling they might relish these bigger games as well? Because they certainly impressed against Wolves in that 1-1 draw.
Yeah, I think they have to relish these games. This is what it's all about, you know. You want to get to the Premier League, you've got to enjoy days like today. You've got to enjoy beating the teams that are trying to push you off the top. So, yeah, I'm hoping that they're going to enjoy it. I'm hoping they're going to show that they're enjoying it and play some good football and give us a good show.
Steve Coppell is chasing his 4th promotion to the top division. Let's hear from him with Greg.
Steve, you went to Wolves earlier this season and won 3-0. How do you feel this challenge is going to compare?
Well, I know that's not going to help us today. It seems like an awful long time ago, and we're playing against a team. I think all the top 3 teams, last 6 games, have got more or less the same record. So it's all to play for. We know we're going to have to play well to get any kind of result here, but we have a determination to do that.
Adam Federici started his first league game for you in goal last week, kept a clean sheet, but how tough a test does he face here today, do you feel?
Well, we all do. It's not a question of singling any one player out. You know, we've already stated many times we have a lot of confidence in Adam. He's a good goalkeeper. He's been a solid understudy to Marcus for many years. This is his chance, and he sees it as that, and he's determined to grab hold of it. But you know, it's not just reliant on one man. It's everyone playing a part today. You're in good form. You've won your last 4 matches. Does that count for anything today? No, again, it doesn't give us a start, but we come here in a good frame of mind. We know that if we do play, we are competitive, and you know, we can give a game to anyone. But you know, it's the home team's responsibility to try and take the game to us. We're going to respond to that, I hope, in a real positive way. Thanks, Steve. Thank you.
Interesting point, that, Dean. I don't think I've ever heard it put like that, that it's the responsibility of the home team to attack, is it?
In his eyes, yes. I don't think it is a responsibility. I think it's a right. They have the right to play the way they want to play. Look at the opposition, see how they're going to sort of line up. I've got a feeling Alex is going to be very, very positive today, and I think that's what Steve Coppell's talking about. He'll expect Birmingham to be that way, and I think in order to get a result today, he's got to get his team ready for that. Reading have to be aware that goals can come from all angles from Birmingham, so they've got to be aware of the threats.
A very big afternoon as well for 2 young men we mentioned right at the top in the Reading side. The goalkeeper, just 23 years old, Adam Federici, and 19-year-old James Henry, who I know you played with at Norwich.
Yeah, I had a small spell with him there. And
Not short of confidence.
No, he's a confident young boy. I think he was about 18 at the time when he was at Norwich, and he was telling me he's a good player. I haven't seen him start a game. I've seen him come on and do bits and bobs. And to be fair to the young lad, he looks tidy. He looks as though he can play the game. He looks like he's got a good brain. I was watching him warm up, and he's very skillful. Whether he can back those words up, we shall see. I think Reading need him today.
On the psychological aspect of this game, Dion, with Wolves 6 points clear, I suppose for them a draw would be just fine. Would it for either of these two?
No, I don't think it will be. I don't think anybody will be happy with a draw, depending on how the game goes. They'll both want to get a win and both want to get as close to Wolves as possible. Reading, having beaten Wolves as well, will be a great psychological thing, but today, psychological stuff, physical stuff means nothing. It's just a battle of 90 minutes, 95 minutes on who can get the best of each other.
So you said you were going to tell us later which way it was going to go. Is that now?
I'll tell you right now. Birmingham have all the experience, but I just feel Reading are a little bit more structured, and they might just nick it by 1 goal. We shall see, mate. It
certainly will be very tight. It certainly is in the head-to-head as well. They haven't played very often, actually. 18 meetings in the league. 5 wins for Birmingham to Reading's 4. And here at St Andrews, Birmingham have the edge. 3 wins to Reading's 2. Reading's last win here 11 years ago. And one of the scorers on that occasion, Jimmy Quinn, scored the winner for them in a 2-1 victory. They've been giving tickets away here as well on this last Saturday before Christmas. We hope it's worthwhile for those that have put their Christmas shopping on hold, and for you as well. Your match commentators, Don Goodman and Rob Hawthorne.
Well, there's a pre-Christmas bonus for Alex McLeish in his team today with the return to fitness of both Sebastian Larsson and James McFadden. Larsson's back from a groin strain for the 100th league game of his career. McFadden had a similar problem and has missed the last 3. There are 4 personnel changes after the late defeated Preston, with Stuart Parnaby in a defence from which Nicky Hunt's been dropped and Liam Ridgewell suspended. Cameron Jerome reaches 100 games for Birmingham on his return to the front line. Steve Coppell makes the 1 change from the team that beat Norwich last week. Youngster James Henry is starting only his 2nd league game for the club, but is a natural wide man. The defences looked secure with no goals conceded in over 5.5 hours, so Michael Dewberry keeps his place despite Andre Biquet's return to fitness. And there's another chance for the Australian goalkeeper Adam Federici, with first choice Marcus Hanneman, a frustrated injury victim. There are the substitutes. Marek Matejowski there for Reading on his 27th birthday, while goalkeeper Mikael Andersson, who turned 23 days ago, is just back from a one-match emergency loan at Brentford. Big game for both, Don.
Oh, you better believe a big game for both. There's so much riding on it, isn't there? And what with Wolves already having that little cushion, the losers here, if we do get a loser, they're going to be in for a tough job in closing that gap, so there's lots to play for out there today.
Birmingham starting this game 2 wins behind Wolves in terms of the results. They need to draw level with them on points, but Reading starting just a point behind Birmingham, and this could be the occasion when they finally break into the top 2. And what a point it would be at which to do it, just past the halfway mark of this championship season. Birmingham, who have been in the top 2 positions since mid-September, and after their heartbreaking late defeat at Preston, this will not be an occasion to relish if they lose that place. Well, the crowd being wound up to greet the team that they hope can make an immediate bounce back to the Premier League, something that Reading themselves are aiming for as well. No doubt about it, this is a crunch fixture in the context of this season. Birmingham with just 4 defeats on their record this season, but they've drawn too many games in terms of keeping up the pace with Wolves. Reading have lost 5 matches already during the course of this campaign. So it's a key game in the Championship promotion battle. It's Birmingham against Reading live next.
Christmas cracker in store here on Sky Sports 1 right now. It's second place Birmingham, who could go 4 clear of Reading in third, who themselves could go second above Birmingham. So much at stake today. Your commentators, Don Goodman and Rob Hawthorne.
The Reading huddle, and I'm not sure how much the Reading manager, Steve Coppell, will appreciate a Premier League man being in charge. Mike Dean has sent off 3 Reading players in the last 4 of their matches he's officiated. Mind you, he's also sent off 3 Birmingham players in the last 4 of their games that he's refereed. There is Steve Coppell taking up his regular vantage point in the stand. Been round the block in promotion campaigns past. And you'll appreciate the fact that his team are hitting form at a good time. Reading have won all 4 of their matches in December. They went on a great streak of 10 wins in a row when they stormed this division 3 seasons ago. But defensively, they're really on their game at the moment. 5 hours and 34 minutes since conceding to Coventry's Dan Fox. Here's David Murphy looking for Cameron Jerome. Birmingham will look to make a positive start here. Phillips has been joined by Larson in the box. This is Quasi. Offside flag up against McFadden.
Well, there are some great matchups out there, aren't there? Lots of terrific Premier League quality players. And it is really about winning your individual battles for me out there. If more of your team can win those individual battles, I think the team that happens to will come out on top here.
Front men on either side named Kevin, but with 10 years difference between Kevin Phillips and Kevin Doyle, but both equally prolific. Phillips, who scored 10 in the league this season, and Doyle, who's the Championship's top scorer with 15. Ball aimed towards Doyle. Climbing above him was Frank Kedru, who's been switched from left back into the centre today in Liam Ridgewell's absence because of suspension. Clearance there by Murphy. Jerome was climbing for it, but Dewberry rose higher. McFadden looking to switch it for Larson. And out comes Federici. Not the cleanest connection for him. Maybe a complaint about the pitch.
It did seem to take 1 or 2 little Unorthodox bounces on its way through, and so did that one, but Mike Taylor's dealt so well with it.
Here's Stephen Hunt. That's James Harper. And Noel Hunt was coming back from an offside position.
There's no doubt about it, Alex McLeish, by bringing in the type of players he has, it's a real positive statement from him, isn't it? Really look as if they're going to go out and after this game and after those 3 points.
Going for the jugular here. They got caught cold late on at Deepdale a week ago. They want to establish themselves early here. Parnaby with the throw. Larson drifting away from Hunt. There's a nothing throw really from Parnaby, straight to Ingemarson, cleared by Stephen Hunt. Now Frank Kedrew. This is McFadden. Taken on by Phillips, cleared by Harper. This is Nigel Quasi. And now Parnaby. Larson trying to deliver it back to him. Noel Hunt becoming involved. And here's Radi Jaidi.
That's not surprising. Hasn't really settled down into anything like a football match as yet. Just the feelers out. Hardly wanting to make any mistakes.
Here's Cameron Jerome. They've played 2 games away since their last match on this pitch. A victory over Watford. They have won their last 3 games at home at Birmingham, and Kevin Phillips has scored in all of them, but there is definitely an uneven bounce on that ball.
Something to watch out for, isn't it? Back passes, things like that.
Clearance there by Ingemarson. There's Parnaby. Quasi found himself closed down by Cisse, whose boot was raised.
I think 5 years ago he'd got away with a challenge like that. He was very cleanly won the ball, didn't he? But the boot was raised, and you're not allowed to do that in modern football. Clearly you can see he wins the ball, but now considered a dangerous tackle.
Luca Cisse is one of those players who has been sent off by Mike Dean in the past. It was on his home debut, in fact, for Reading against Chelsea some 16 months ago.
One heck of a battle in that midfield area, isn't it? Quasi and Carsley up against Cisse and James Harper. You do get the feeling that whoever can come out on top in that little battle may just be able to swing it their team's way.
There's Parnaby. Phillips resisting the challenge of Ingemarson. Away by Armstrong. Multi-ball system meant that there were 2 volunteers for the throw-in. Parnaby got it in the end from Larson's throw. Parnaby to take this one. McFadden showing for him. That's who he's aimed it for. Now Noel Hunt. Doyle up ahead. Cleared by Frank Kedrew. Referee having a word with Michael Dewberry. And I think the referee's not very happy about what he has on underneath his shorts.
Maybe the only person in the ground to notice that. I certainly didn't notice it.
Looks for something, doesn't it, when referees are making fashion statements. Here's Kevin Doyle. Crossed by Harper, it's come back off Kedrew. There's an opportunity then perhaps for Henry, but it was well taken by Murphy. Look for Jerome when Kevin Phillips may have been a better bet.
Well, Kevin Phillips is so clever with his movement. He just pulled away from his central half marker and got sucked towards the ball. He was in acres of space. He could have been spotted.
Well, minus the cycling shorts, Michael Dewberry returns. Jerome. Dewberry gets there.
You can see Birmingham are looking really early on to get Cameron Jerome in behind those Reading defenders, trying to get them turned. Defenders don't like having to chase the ball back towards their own goal. That's clearly the plan here.
Murphy's throw. Played across by McFadden. It's away by Dewberry. Murphy winning it, the header. It's Carsley. McFadden keeps it in. Going beyond Quasi. It's Parnaby who's there, now Phillips. Larson. Looking to play in McFadden. It's Rossini who's there to cut it out and find Henry. Kevin Doyle. Henry. Cleared by Kedru. Away from Noel Hunt. Doyle.
Great defending, wasn't it, by Frank Kedru? Calm as you like. A lot of central defenders would have just cleared that away. And his own player with a pass.
Noel Hunt, closed down by Carsley. Here's Cisse. Cross from Armstrong. Noel Hunt going in to challenge for it. A good header away, brave header away, but a clash of heads as a result. Kedru, the Birmingham player, hurt, and Noel Hunt down for Reading.
Yeah, there's a definite clash of heads in there. It's a fantastic ball in by Chris Armstrong. It was there to be attacked. Good striker that he is, Noel Hunt was going to attack this. Frank Kedru, it's a great defensive header. It's a nasty collision.
Noel Hunt knocked himself out scoring a goal this season, didn't he, once against Burnley? And didn't remember too much about it even a day later. In the wars again here with Kedru, who's started the game solidly for Birmingham.
Yeah, when you consider he's been switched from that left-back position. A lot of faith placed in him. He is up against a couple of decent strikers, or more than decent strikers at this level. Alex McLeish, absolutely no hesitation, pushing Frank Kedru in there.
Well, Kedru is really a player reborn here. He was dismissed by the club's owner as a pile of rubbish at the end of last season after the Premier League relegation. It looked as though there'd be no way back for him, but somehow relations have been repaired. Not quite sure how they were repaired. Somebody must have done some decent mediating. But they're reaping the benefits with Kedru's performances in the Championship this season.
Yeah, he's been very, very solid. Lots and lots of Premier League experience.
He's having to be patched up here before being thrown back into the battle.
Becoming more and more a common occurrence, isn't it? A bandaged head on a football pitch. Used to go off and get stitches, but it's a gamble when you do that. Playing with 10 men for a while, hence the Basil Fawlty look.
No bandage for Noel Hunt. He's back on unprotected. Kedru is back on. Powerful header by Dewberry. Kedru gets it away and sticks his head in. Ingemarson. Now Stephen Hunt. Decent challenge by Parnaby.
Kevin Phillips, a wry smile. Can't believe the free kick's gone against him. He's wanting it the other way. A little delicate striker's nudge, methinks, spotted by Mike Dean.
And from which Reading get a free kick that Chris Armstrong will take. Kevin Doyle will be a prime target, but Dewberry has gone forward. Played in by Armstrong towards Ingemarson. The layup was aimed for Stephen Hunt. Stephen Hunt still in there, battling doggedly. So too is Noel Hunt. He's taken down by McFadden. Gives away a free kick in a dangerous position.
Well, it is a dangerous position. Again, once you decide you're going to dive in, the striker nips the ball ahead of you. It's a clear free kick. You leave the referee no alternative.
Well, pairing together the Hunt brothers this season has worked wonders for Steve Coppell. They're both involved in this free kick. Harper's there too. A little word from Mike Dean to Lee Carsley and Kevin Phillips before the free kick is taken.
He's doing well, Mike Dean, isn't he? Because there is a lot of tension out there, a lot of, well, expectation, fear, call it what you will. Players can get wound up a little bit too easily. He's doing well having words with them rather than issuing cards.
Noel Hunt, magnificent, absolutely unstoppable.
Well, that is first class, absolutely first class, because he takes a really straight run up. When players are going to bend the ball into that corner, they normally come from the side of the ball, but look, pretty straight run up. And he gets just the perfect elevation. It just clears the Birmingham wall, and because of the height of it and trajectory of it, there's a lot of pace on this ball, and that is the reason that Mike Taylor can't get across and keep that ball out. Absolutely first class.
Well, Noel Hunt already in double figures with goals in all competitions this season, up to 11 now. And 6 days short of his birthday. He turns 26 on Boxing Day. He has something a little extra to celebrate with a goal here in this crucial clash.
Well, he's been a real bonus, hasn't he, for Steve Coppell. I'm not sure anybody could have really expected him halfway through the season to already have 11 goals. He certainly has. And you can see what the significance of that could be. They're usually very positive outcomes when Reading score first. But Birmingham City have got a great record at coming from behind, and they're going to have to improve that record here today now.
Well, the 4 defeats that Birmingham have suffered this season have been by a single goal, including that one at Preston last week. But Reading, rampant here, Doyle with a cross. It's Henry following up. He's got Cisse to pull it back. Across to Stephen Hunt, misses. And Kevin Doyle was following up not far behind, but he couldn't convert either.
Well, they need to take a deep breath here, Birmingham. The last thing they can afford to do is concede another one. It's just petered out. And they'll be thankful because Reading are flying now, and it's Kevin Doyle that causes Jaidi all the problems. But look how many bodies they've got forward. 4 or 5 bodies. And that's a great ball, and it's a really important touch to get that ball out of the danger area there from a Birmingham defender. It's fired back in by Henry, and there's the touch there. I think it's McFadden, is it?
Well, it was really anxious defending on Birmingham's part to have conceded a second goal then. Could have fatally undermined their cause in this game. Here's Henry. And there's Noel Hunt again, who is prone to drift, looking for the central pivot of the attack in Doyle, who very nearly made something of it. Birmingham defending with a measure of panic at the moment. Here's Armstrong. Stephen Hunt. Armstrong up on the outside of him. Slipped as he crossed. Still nearly found Harper. Carsley, though, relieved to ease the pressure on Birmingham, who started the game so positively, but now suddenly seem to have gone to pieces.
Well, you said defending with a measure of panic. This is the best defence in the Championship. Let's not forget that. We've got to pay credit to Reading for really taking it to Birmingham away from home. Just worrying moments at the moment for Birmingham City. To regain the composure.
Birmingham have only lost as many games as Wolves, 4, but they've drawn 3 more than them, which is why they find themselves adrift. Here's Murphy. This is aimed towards Larson.
Well, one thing you knew that Reading were going to bring to the table here was a goals threat. It's the 49th goal they've scored so far this season in the league.
Goes Jerome, Ingemarson climbing. Frank Kedru, who we hear is going to require stitches in that injury at half-time. The bandaging a temporary job. Just see him through to the break. A fair way to see him through. Here's Phillips. Took a tumble. And Dewberry responsible for giving away the free kick. Murphy. Now Parnaby. Larson was free, but he looked more ambitiously for McFadden, and it was Rossignol who cut it out. There's Carsley. Jerome looking for the knock-on. Phillips may have been offside anyway. Jerome has a crack.
Well, it's nice and positive, isn't it, from Cameron Jerome? As the ball drops down to his weaker left foot, but he's not frightened to give it a go. Gets plenty of power in there, just slices away. Made a huge impact when he's come off the bench recently, hasn't he? I think, as Alex McLeish was saying, has earned his opportunity here this afternoon.
On by Stephen Hunt. Kevin Doyle. Away by Parnaby. That's Larson. Now Henry. Noel Hunt. Booted clear by Murphy.
Just not quite the quality going into the forwards of Birmingham as there is to the forwards of Reading at the moment. Just final pass, more of a fighting ball for the strikers.
Who got the winning goal against Blackpool earlier this month. Forward for this free kick. It's Stephen Hunt who takes. All the way through to Taylor in the end, although there were threats of touches from Cisse and Doyle. Quasi. Murphy. Now Phillips. Good efforts. Federici holds on.
Well, that's what he's all about, Kevin Phillips. Back to goal, half a yard, gets the strike away, and once again hits the target. The most important thing as a striker.
Well, they needed that, Birmingham. They've had to ride out a bit of a storm in the aftermath of the goal. Just looking to steady themselves here. Stephen Hunt proving an irritant to their defence, though, and it's Henry's cross. Doyle! Wonderful effort.
Well, it's great football. It's no surprise that Stephen Hunt and Kevin Doyle are in the thick of this. How acrobatic is Kevin Doyle to get a brilliant effort on target from there? And a yard either side of that. It's got such pace on it. Reading could be two up.
Can't get involved here, Doyle. He's offside. It's typically acrobatic from him. Player who unusually is looking for a goal after a relatively lean spell by his standards. 4 games without one. Here's Jerome. Larson, not the cross that Phillips or McFadden, who were in the box, would have wanted, and it's just got too much pace on it for Noel Hunt.
We spoke about the quality, didn't we? Larson, who has got a wonderful right foot, and a great opportunity to get a good ball in there. Poor delivery.
Looks like Noel Hunt's got a bit of a vision problem at the moment. He's been in communication with Wally Downs there.
I wonder if that's from the clash of heads earlier. Be a little worried.
He certainly had his eye in for the goal. But concussion can have a delayed effect. Maybe that's what's happened in Noel Hunt's case. Parnaby looking through the middle for Cameron Jerome.
Well, he got himself in between the two central defenders there. Took up a wonderful position. It's just a yard of pace too much on that pass. We'll be looking for more of the same, Cameron Jerome.
Here's McFadden. Everything central. Jerome had come there. Nothing further wide. Here's Stephen Hunt. Away by Jaidi. Then by Parnaby. It's McFadden.
A lot more time on the ball there, didn't he, James McFadden? He needs help from his teammates. Time to calm down. No pressure. Must try and keep the ball, particularly against teams like Reading. Of course, the other thing that Reading have done with this start is they've quietened this crowd down a little bit. There's a bit of pressure on Birmingham. Every time they make a mistake, there are one or two moans and groans, and it doesn't help the home team.
Moans and groans then directed at the referee when they felt Doyle had fouled Quasi, but he's allowed play to go on here, and this is Stephen Hunt finding Noel Hunt. And whatever discomfort he's experiencing has been playing on.
Well, he can't believe he hasn't been given a corner there, can he? He really can't believe it. Appeared that Jaidi dived in, and from our vantage point appeared to make the final contact. He comes in here. It's his right leg. He scoops the ball out. Should have been a corner. Very difficult for Mike Dean to see that in his defence.
But even with his concussion, Hunt saw it. He's still obviously experiencing a problem, and he's come off to speak to the coaching staff again.
Been thrown back on by the fourth official. I think you've got to get permission to leave the field now, haven't you? So he's going down to try and attract attention. He's just sitting down a couple of yards in from the touchline.
Well, with a request, if it's concussion, you'd have thought action would be taken, but Reading are playing on here because Henry, in a great position, lashes one wide.
That's a really confident run and strike, isn't it, from the young man? Been given permission to come off now. He's clearly having problems with his vision. Got to be so careful, haven't you, with head injuries. There are options on the Reading bench.
Yeah, Shane Long, who came on and scored against Norwich last week, and also came on when Hunt was concussed after scoring against Burnley, and Long himself scored in that game as well, I think. He'll definitely be an option for Reading.
I think they're going to force him to come off because he doesn't want to come off. Noel Hunt scored a brilliant free kick in the thick of the action, but can't really afford to take risks with injuries like that or incidents like that.
Ball from Quasi. Phillips can get a touch. Well, he was concussed when he scored his free kick, but having done that job, Hunt now can't go on, and here's going to be Shane Long who comes on and takes his place.
It was a nasty collision, wasn't it?
Kedru, the other party involved in it, has played on. Now one Irishman replaced by another, Shane Long coming on.
Well, this is why it's a really sickening clash of heads. Catches him on the side of the temple, and straight away you know it's not a good one.
Well, to have done what he did after that, amazing really.
Well, like you said, I think delayed reaction.
So the tracksuits are back on for Noel Hunt. Kedru's kick. Throw from Parnaby, helped back by Jaidi, beyond the reach of Lee Carsley though, and cleared by Long.
It's good defending in the end, isn't it? Cisse, an important header in the penalty area there.
Here's Kedru.
Say there's not an awful lot of movement in front of Frank Kedru there. He's waiting and waiting for a little bit of movement. It wasn't forthcoming there. Confidence shouldn't really be an issue for Birmingham City. You know, if you take last week's defeat away, they'd had a really good run, rich vein of form. So it's just the one game.
There's just one defeat in 8 for Alex McLeish's team. Ball reached Phillips, headed back by Dewberry. Here's Kevin Doyle. Long has made the run, but the cross doesn't reach him. Defending by Jaidi.
Well, he may not have scored for 4 games, Kevin Doyle, but still brings quality to the table. Fantastic touch from the goalkeeper's clearance, pulled it out of the sky, ran at Jaidi. All of a sudden, Reading have got their corner.
James Henry, whose cross set up Long's goal last week against Norwich, takes this corner, and Jaidi took it out of his goalkeeper's hands.
I think he was right to do so. Not really sure what was behind him. It's a super delivery, isn't it? Lots of pace and whip on that ball. And now you're going to have Stephen Hunt try and do the same thing from the left-hand side with his left foot.
A pantomime there with Mike Taylor looking one way, and the corner is to come from the other. Here's Hunt. Ingham Marston going in behind the goalkeeper.
Decent catch, isn't it? The big fella, but look, he's frustrated. There's nobody to throw it to, there's nobody to kick it to. He has to wait an awful long time. It slows the tempo down, and you'd think Birmingham would want to get the tempo up from their own perspective.
Hold it! Here's Long. Now Doyle. One back to Birmingham by Kwasi, and this is Jerome. Giving Larson far too much to do.
Please contact the commentary section immediately. Peter Jessup, who is the contact, please contact the commentary section immediately.
By Kwasi, here's Phillips. Murphy. It's Jerome's header. Carsley looking to get in there, but it's Dewberry away. Now Hunt. Couldn't keep it in.
They're looking solid back there, Reading, aren't they? Just when there's a slight hint of danger, Dewberry positions himself in the right place.
More than 6 hours now since they let in a goal. That was a free kick. They've scored with a free kick here to establish this lead. What an important lead it is. If they hold on to it, they will leapfrog above Birmingham in the Championship table. Phillips. Now Murphy. First touch gave Hunt the benefit, and he then fouled his opponent. More great Championship action to come later. Sheffield United fan and the man who led them into the Premier League is back at Bramall Lane tonight in charge of Crystal Palace. Neil Warnock taking his current charges there, and it's live on Sky Sports 1 and HD1 from 5:15. Here's Henry waiting for support in the box. Cleared by Parnaby. Cisse. It was blurred vision from Noel Hunt that forced them to take him off. It was getting progressively worse as a result of that early clash of heads with Frank Kedru. So it forced the change, and long on with Hunt taken off as a precaution. Free kick from Kwasi. Up goes Jaidi. Kedru's got it through. And Jerome waited his moment and then wins a corner off Cisse.
Cisse took the gamble of sliding, didn't he? Always a gamble. Got away with it. Got the block in the end. Stopped the cross. What can Birmingham do with their first corner? All about the quality.
It's down to McFadden to produce. Right in on top of Federici, who hangs on. To be patient waiting for his chance. Marcus Hanneman doesn't miss many games, but he got injured against Blackpool, and Federici came on for him and then started the game against Norwich, kept a clean sheet in that. If he keeps another one today, Reading will be second in the table.
They will. Just leapfrog Birmingham and put a bit of pressure on Wolverhampton Wanderers, and that was always their objective here this afternoon.
Here's Phillips. Jaidi saw the waspish Stephen Hunt moving in towards him. Had to deal with it. He's a really gritty, determined player, isn't he, Hunt?
Oh, not off. A very, very good one too. Not only does he do the ugly side of the game and work hard and tackle and close people down, when he's in possession, he's got real quality about him.
Jerome, a push on Dewberry.
Assistant referee's flag was up like a flash. Dewberry does well because he plants his feet and he stands still just there. Look, there's your little push, although Dewberry does make the most of it. Assistant referee, no real option but to give a foul.
Jaidi. Hunt. Away by Jaidi. Here's Kedru. Larson let it run. Now Rosinia. Kedru. Cameron Jerome. Pulled across by Larson. Away by Rosinia. Here's Murphy. Jerome looking for a way through. Ball to Stephen Hunt. And hurries the ball to Doyle. Chidey in control. Last. Murphy. Tripped by Jerome.
You can see his frustration and you can hear the crowd's frustration. He's saying Dubry dived. Crowd not happy. Alex McLeish not happy. The long and the short of it is that his team aren't really threatening Reading. A couple of long-range efforts. That's about the size of it from Birmingham City's point of view. That's the two. And Kevin Phillips was the only one that made Federici work. And we're 38 minutes in.
Here is Phillips. Marson coming in on Quasi. It's a foul by Harper. Just a warning.
It's a word with somebody, doesn't he? Mike Dean.
Senior is coming towards the referee. He's had too much to say for himself.
It's the only thing it can be, isn't it? I don't know why. You're the away team. You're 1-0 up against a team that are just above you. Things are going your way. It's needless.
Here's Larson with a free kick. Kedru's up there. But it was kicking a ball away after the free kick had been given that earned the yellow card for Liam Rosinia. Back by Doyle. Nobody there for him though.
It's gone into a little bit of a lull, hasn't it? The game. It's a spectacle. The tempo's dropped. The crowd are quiet, and it suits Reading much more than it suits Birmingham.
There's offside, and here's Parnaby. Now Murphy. Last. Jerome. Looking for the run of Quasi. Here's Doyle. Giving Parnaby the slip, but not Jaidi.
Birmingham bench not happy, a bit frustrated, but Kevin Doyle bought that free kick. It's good hold-up play. Jaidi at his back, felt him, held the ball up. It's a covering midfielder. And Parnaby was helping him out, dived in. Kevin Doyle bought his free kick.
Armstrong's kick, dealt with by Quasi. That's Jerome. Stephen Hunt retreating. Now Harper. Henry. Larson and Murphy doubling up on James Henry. Strange pass, but he got away with it. Cleared by Kedru. Here's Harper.
The team really putting too many passes together for the last 15 minutes or so. Just that one good spell earlier in the half has borne fruit for Reading when they were on top.
It suits Reading very nicely at the moment, and here's Shane Long with 4 coming up to his left. It just shows a little too much of that to Frank Kedru.
Yeah, if he could have got his head up. Reading for a moment had a 5 against 4. Chose the wrong option, I think, there.
No way past Larson.
It's free kick, I think. Larson can't believe it. Not seen much of Ian Rosinia getting forward. He's a fullback that really likes to bomb on, but hasn't really done much of that so far. But that's the first time he's got his team a free kick in a decent area.
There's the last outfielder back to defend against a break now, as Reading look to make something of this Stephen Hunt free kick. Swings it in and skims the top of the net.
Well, it might have done that, but it's a disappointing effort, really. Mike Taylor was always in control of that. If it had been on target, he would have just caught it, but it's a waste. You've sent your big fellas up. That's one of the few times that I've been critical of him in this first 43 minutes.
Well, he scored on both of his previous visits here, Stephen Hunt, including the 1-1 draw in the Premier League last season. And in those games in the top division, Reading were unbeaten against Birmingham. They won the home game. A couple from Andre Biquet. Got the 1-1 draw here. Sebastian Larson over the free kick here for Birmingham. Coming out to Parnaby. It's away by Cisse. This is Harper. Back in by Parnaby. Then cleared by Cisse. Henry locked in combat with Murphy. Ball from Rosinia. Kedru shuffled across there in front of Shane Long. Here's Cisse. It's broken kindly for Phillips. Good retrieval job done though by Khalifa Cisse. Here's Henry. Now Rosinia. Doyle just lost his footing. Well, there will be 3 added minutes, and most of that for that clash of heads between Kedru and Noel Hunt, the goal scorer, who subsequently went off. Kedru tried to steer that one to safety. Jaidi doesn't do that because it lands here for Harper, and it's Stephen Hunt. Long taken away from him by Kedru.
Keeps losing his footing, Shane Long. Keeps slipping. Wonder whether he's got the right footwear on.
Looking for a way through from the right-hand side. Maybe there'll be another substitution at half-time of the boots.
Of the boots, yeah. Just keep falling over. For Birmingham's point of view, they've only been behind 4 times in the whole season at half-time. I know we're not quite there yet, but they're actually unbeaten when they've been behind in games at half-time in the Championship, so maybe it's a deliberate ploy.
Well, they've got a draw out of their other big game against the main Championship contenders, Wolves. Reading have already won handsomely at Molineux this season. They have the upper hand here. Can they hold it to half-time? Dewberry's clearance buys them some more time.
Well, they've defended extremely well for 46.5 minutes, Reading, in this first half. Question whether they can see it out now.
Murphy's throw. Cradden couldn't keep it in.
Really managed to get James McFadden into the game, Birmingham, or Seb Larson, for that matter, really. I just wonder whether Alex McLeish is going to be able to get the full 90 minutes out of either of those two boys, given the lack of recent action.
And also the rush of action to come with Ipswich away and Swansea here over the Christmas period.
It's two difficult games as well, isn't it?
Quasi. Parnaby.
Again, it's a fighting ball. Stuart Parnaby, really. There's seconds left in the half. Should be just hooking that ball into the penalty area.
Parnaby taking the throw, and there goes the half-time whistle. And you expect to have a sore head at this time of year, but Noel Hunt's from concussion still didn't prevent him from getting the goal that gives Reading plenty to celebrate at half-time. It's Birmingham 0, Reading 1.
Frustrating end to a frustrating first 45 minutes for Birmingham City, who, remember, started today in second place, but Reading have that incentive. They could end the day in second place. We'll hear from Dion in just a couple of minutes' time. Noel Hunt, well, Reading fans have been head over heels in love with him this season. Done it again for them so far. His goal, the difference. And just as Birmingham trailed against Wolves a few weeks ago, they trail here by 1-0. Another big game in the race for promotion to the Premier League later. Sheffield United in 7th against Neil Warnock's Crystal Palace in 8th. 5:15 Sky Sports 1 and HD1. Two games from La Liga as well, with Real against Valencia from 7 on Sky Sports Extra and Espanyol Atletico Madrid from 9 o'clock on Sky Sports Extra. And here, second placed Birmingham, a goal down to third place Reading at half-time. Dion, Dublin have Reading played well?
Yeah, and they've deserved the lead in the goal. They've been very rigid at the back, you know. Dewberry and Ingemarson have just headed it and kicked it. That's all you ask of your defenders. Going forward, the threat I feel for Reading is in behind. You know, Hunt's gotten behind, Long's come on, he's gotten behind, and Henry as well. And I feel if they can just drop that ball in behind the fullbacks, they're in. But they've deserved the lead.
They have been brave as well, particularly Noel Hunt, who paid for his concussion. This is the nasty-looking challenge, Dion.
Yeah, it's one of those you've got to go for it. He's half a second. He's just half a second late, and you can see straight away that top of his forehead there, the bump comes straight up. You know, within seconds, it's up there, and it's a bad one, really.
4 or 5 minutes later, he does this, so he's probably aiming for the other side because he's got blurred vision.
He's probably got one eye closed. Can only see the left side.
It's a terrific low trajectory, which you don't see so often.
And it seems to not. It doesn't seem to go over. It seems to go in between two players there.
Is that what catches Mike Taylor out, do you think?
I think so, yeah. I think if his wall stands up tall, stands strong, somebody gets in the face, and that's what the wall's for. It's gone through the wall, and he'll be very disappointed.
And that celebration just shook up the brain a little bit more, which meant he had to go off.
That didn't help him at all.
It means he's probably got Christmas off now as well. He'll be able to celebrate Christmas Day, then his birthday on Boxing Day too. Reading, at that point, looked like they might score a couple more.
Yeah, they did. They had some good chances. Again, it was just in behind, little touch here, fantastic touch. And there's the pace of Doyle, goes away from Jaidi, and he has the confidence and the composure just to pop it into an area, overhits it slightly, but it's a great ball in from Henry.
It's Murphy just gets that vital touch.
Just a little nick there, just takes it off his toe. I think it's his brother, Stephen Hunt's toe. It's all you need sometimes in the box. Great ball in from Henry though, but that's again, it's in behind, you know, just in behind. Pace here again of Hunt. Composure again, see what's on. And a great cross in, this fantastic acrobatics here does well just to even hit the target.
But from those positions which they're crossing from, which is just about level with the penalty area, maybe even a little deeper, Birmingham just haven't been able to get in those positions.
No, they haven't. You know, they've got Phillips, who's renowned for scoring good goals with his head. He's not the tallest forward, but he scores good goals, headed goals. And he's never going to score from where they're crossing it from. They're crossing it from 10, 20 yards just inside the half and trying to hit him on the angle. It's just not happening. And again, what Birmingham are doing, they're trying to go back to forward too fast instead of trying to play through the midfield through Quasi and through Carsley, who can look after the game, but they haven't used them enough.
Reading had this bonus with Marcus Hanneman playing 100 games in a row, but now with Federici, they seem to have, well, something new in terms of distribution anyway.
Yeah, it's as a forward receiving something like this, it's perfect, really. It's not too high.
So accurate as well.
It's accurate. If it's coming straight towards you, you can get yourself in between the defender and the ball, and it's hard for the defender to get hold of it. And as you've seen today, this guy's hit it 5-6 times, bang on the point, straight to his player, and he's given their team an attack.
He's actually been known to hit his own defenders because the trajectory is so low. We wouldn't be too happy, or Steve Coppell wouldn't be too happy to see that today, I'm sure. But those Reading fans will be very pleased with what they've seen from their team, who come here having won their last 4. And they are 45 minutes away from going second in the Coca-Cola Championship. Second half is next. Premier League double for you tomorrow, starting at the Hawthorns with West Brom Man City from 1 on Sky Sports 1 and HD1, and then at the top it's Arsenal Liverpool 3:30, Sky Sports 1 and HD1. And how fitting at this time of year that a man called Noel would have a major say on this game. Noel Hunt bashed his head, then was brought down for the free kick. He chased the ball, by the way, and then slotted it past Mike Taylor. Not sure the somersault would have helped his cause. Concussion has seen him off. And at the moment, Reading lead 1-0. And Birmingham City, I can tell you, have been out there for a good 3 minutes already, trying to get themselves warm, get themselves sharp, and maybe, Dion, with Alex McLeish's words ringing in their ears. What do you think?
Yeah, I would have thought so. He would have probably said, you know, more positive football. There's a lot of senior heads in the Birmingham side, and I'm hoping they've got together, had a few one-to-one chats, say, listen, let's turn it on a bit now, because we can't afford to play like we did in the first half. Wasn't good enough.
Did they look more effective when they did get the ball down and try and play?
Yeah, they did. They only done it 2 or 3 times in the first half, but it was more composed. They got it into Carsley, who's a catalyst among the Birmingham side, and Quasi as well was superb. So they've got to be more patient. Don't rush it. Don't try and hit the forwards too early. Get it into the areas we spoke about to cross it, and let's see what happens from there.
And what would Reading's approach be now?
Apart from saying more of the same, I would think if Steve Coppell's seeing the same game as I am, get in behind. You know, we know Jaid is a good defender with everything in front of him. But if the ball goes in behind him, Quadru, good defender in front of him, get in behind. They've got so much pace. Let's see what happens.
Well, how key this next 45 minutes could be in the race for promotion to the Premier League. Your commentators for it, Don Goodman and Rob Hawthorne.
Well, the only player excused the early return from the Birmingham ranks was Frank Quadru, but he has re-emerged for the second half. Still all bandaged up. He was the player with whom Noel Hunt did clash heads. And how much had Birmingham been shaken up in that half-time break? Alex McLeish needs his team to get back on track here. Very steady, level-headed type, though. He knows that nothing is won and lost for definite, no matter what the outcome here today, and that there is still a long way to go in this championship race. But it will be a psychological step up for Reading if they can leapfrog their rivals just past the halfway point of this championship season.
There's a long way to go in the race. There's a long way to go in this match. You know, I think Birmingham can only improve in this second half. Don't pose any threats whatsoever, and we spoke about the individual battles at the top of the match, at the start of the match, and it's Reading that have won them in the first 45 minutes.
Well, player-wise, Alex McLeish for now is keeping faith with the team that started.
We'll probably monitor that only for 15 minutes or so. I think maybe the wide areas might be a problem for Birmingham. They've not been able to get McFadden or Larson into the game. So they've got Quincy as an option on the bench.
Here is McFadden. He and Larson have been interchangeable on both sides in the first half. There's Jaidi having to hold off Shane Long. Long, the man who was sent on to replace Noel Hunt. And Frank Kedru, with whom Hunt had that clash, has had 5 stitches in that head wound at half-time. Ingemarson with the header. Up goes McFadden. Cisse away. Couldn't get a clean strike at that. That's Carsley. Ingemarson away. Now Stephen Hunt. Kwasi, quickly closed down by Harper. Kwasi glad that Jaidi was there and too much of a barrier for Harper to get round. Back by David Murphy.
Alex McLeish on the side, urging his team to pick up the pace of this game.
Ball clears Ingemarson. Phillips looking to hold on to it.
And once again, referee Mike Dean ruling against Kevin Phillips. It's a frustrated Kevin Phillips. He goes up, eyes on the ball. And I think the referee's right, he's given it for handball. There's a little coming together, and Phillips might think he was nudged, and that's the reason his hand caught the ball. But look at the look of disbelief on his face.
Here's Doyle. Henry with a touch. Kedru away. Here's McFadden. Ball from Carsley, right idea. Frustrated by Hunt, but the referee had already brought play back.
That's good refereeing. I really like to see that. Allowing the attacking team the opportunity to gain an advantage. If they don't get it, bring it back. This is an area they haven't excelled in the first half. You know, the quality of the delivery, they haven't got the Birmingham head on the knockdowns. It really caused Reading any problems from free kicks like this.
This one played out to Murphy. Jerome climbing, Dewberry ahead of him. Here's McFadden. Ball in by Parnaby. Jerome trying to squeeze himself between defender and goalkeeper. It's a powerful frame to beat Adam Federici's. Here's Doyle. Now Henry. Now Rossignol venturing forward. Looking for Long with a cross. Clears both he and Stephen Hunt.
And Stephen Hunt flew across Long rather than holding his position at the far post. But it was super play down this right-hand side. And Liam Rossignol spoke about his love of getting forward. Just demonstrated it perfectly there.
Please contact the reception immediately. Thank you.
Armstrong. Away by Carsley. Here's Phillips. Cameron Jerome. Phillips. Here's Murphy. Larson. Although Jerome was free, he'd actually been caught in the offside trap.
Fraction late with a flag. Thumbs up for the intent. He's just got to look to get in those spaces in between the Reading defence, Cameron Jerome. Done it on occasion. The ball just hasn't fallen for him.
Great accuracy from Federici in picking out Doyle with his clearance, but he was quickly submerged. There's Rossignol. Now Armstrong. Cisse. Long, battling to get in front of Carsley. Here's Henry. Left Murphy trailing in his wake. Long challenging for it.
I think it comes off Parnaby in the end. Super break, isn't it? How confident James Henry is. A super touch, and he leaves Murphy standing. And then he's looking up as he's driving forward. He's looking up, picks the pass. It's a great ball in. It's a really important touch from Stuart Parnaby.
Stephen Hunt with the corner. Marson's headed back across. Fratton tried to get it away, but it falls here to Harper. Hunt away from McFadden, taking on Larson, and then really disappointed with himself over that.
Well, he is. He doesn't need anybody to tell him. He worked a decent opening to slot his teammate in. And he must be pleased with the way the opening 50-odd minutes have gone. His team have been strong, well organised, carried a threat going forward. Certainly on top of the game at this stage.
Senior's throw on by Doyle. Now Henry. Too much chest of Knoll. Reading have already breached the best defence in the Championship this season. And with that goal from Noel Hunt, they're now one behind the top scorers in the division, Wolves, who've already got 50 league goals this season. Rosinia. That's away by Kedru.
He's working overtime, isn't he, back there, Frank Kedru and Jaidi. Reading playing the ball into those areas, turning the defenders. A couple of willing runners, haven't they? Kevin Doyle and Shane Long.
Henry, Rosinia. Back at his old stamping ground, Reading coach Kevin Dillon once on the playing staff here. 31 years since he made his debut for Birmingham, and he got his first goal in a win at Manchester United. Played over 200 games for the club in total.
Another piece of frustration. Birmingham supporters, the manager, just haven't been able to get any fluency to their game so far. I must admit they've been more direct than I've seen them in games gone by. They haven't been able to get Carsley or Quasi on the ball. Straight from back to front. And that suits the two big central defenders of Reading.
Clear by Ingemarson. Noel Hunt, the man who got the goal but who was later taken off with blurred vision, coming on to witness as much as he can of the second half. Here's Murphy. Now Carsley. It's a frustrating passage of play this at the moment for Birmingham.
To force it a little bit, aren't they? Just a little bit of frustration. I think Lee Carsley there. There wasn't any width. There was no one for him to just roll the ball out wide to on this touch line or switch play on the far touch line. Having to go through the middle makes life really difficult. You've got to pick the perfect pass, and you can't do that frequently.
Stephen Hunt's kick, cleared by Carsley. Kept in by Henry. And Larson came back to play it against him. James Henry, who was born in Reading, just 19 years of age. Had a couple of loan spells out at Bournemouth and at Norwich.
So had a good afternoon this afternoon, hasn't he? Played very, very well, the young man.
Kedru was just eased out of the way then by Kevin Doyle. After his kick towards Jaidi, but it fell to McFadden. Now Quasi. Appealed early for the throw, and I don't know if that made any difference, but he gets it.
Certainly doesn't do any harm when you appeal early.
Jaidi up for the throw, which is cleared by Armstrong. Also saves the corner. Kedru. Ahead of Dewberry and cleared by Armstrong.
They look almost devoid of ideas, Birmingham, don't they? It's just very, very long, high and hopeful.
Certainly so far been a more comfortable afternoon for Adam Federici than he might have anticipated, but nothing comes of that either as Murphy looked to make the run through and tangles with the goalkeeper.
At least it was better, wasn't he? He was trying to play a 1-2 to get himself in behind.
Here's Rossignol. Now Henry. Larson making the tackle. Rossignol. Doyle conceded the throw. Carsley. Dewberry. Away by Jaidi. Here's Harper. Kedru. Now Henry. Long facing a race to keep it in.
Still Reading, isn't it? They're asking the questions, if we're honest.
Not lost in their last 3 against Birmingham, all their last 3 league games against them. Get an FA Cup win here a couple of years ago, Reading. And they're in the driving seat here. Cisse coming together with Shane Long. Away by Murphy. Armstrong. Hunt trying to bring it under control. Cleared though by Murphy. Now Cisse does bring it down for Hunt. He's got Henry ahead of him. Doyle and Long and Cisse all moving towards the area. Now Harper. Now Cisse. Closed down by Carsley. Good determined play from Carsley. Can that set Birmingham on their way to a turning point here? Phillips! It has! The dog of war in the middle of the field, setting up the opportunity for the natural-born goal scorer that is Kevin Phillips.
Well, I'll tell you what, Khalifa Cisse is going to be having to apologise to his teammates. He dwelt on the ball and he's cost his teammates. He had an opportunity to lay it off. He dwelt. Carsley does what Carsley does. He gets in, forces the mistake, and from there on, it's about Kevin Phillips. But it's the movement ahead of him that creates the space. Dewberry doesn't close him down, and that is the punishment for not closing Kevin Phillips down when he's 25 yards from goal and he's got a free strike. He will hit the target and he will find the corners, and that is a stunning, stunning strike. And his team are back in it, and by rights they shouldn't be.
Well, after the celebration, the pragmatism of Alex McLeish, looking for concentration now to hold on for what Kevin Phillips has earned for his side with his 4th consecutive goal here at St Andrews. 4th game in a row here in which he has scored, and he's now up to 11 for the season.
Well, he's just outstanding, isn't he? Let's not kid ourselves. He hasn't had a kick, but Kevin Phillips might not get a kick for 89 minutes. But if he gets a chance, he'll bang it away most of the time. But Reading, the masters of their own undoing there. They've been so comfortable. Khalifa Cisse had so much time to roll that ball off. He didn't spot Lee Carsley coming in on the blind side. And you can see how angry Steve Coppell is about that. Been so dominant for an hour.
Well, he's a manager who often hides his emotions well, but you can sense the exasperation there with Steve Coppell.
There ain't no hiding that. They've got half an hour to dig themselves out of it, Reading again here.
But after 6.5 hours without conceding a goal, they've conceded a cheap one. Here's Hunt. Foul by Pedro. And it's going to add further pain to his day with a card, a yellow card.
I don't think there's any doubt about a yellow card for that. Stephen Hunt was just too quick for Frank Quadru. Reading have caused 1 or 2 problems for this Birmingham defence from set pieces.
Swung into Stephen Hunt. It's behind Ingemarson though.
Well, how many times is this fella going to bail the teams that he plays for out? But look, he's hassled, but he could lay it off well earlier than that. Carsley comes in. Take nothing away from Kevin Phillips. Look at the movement. I think it's McFadden on the left, Jerome on the right, and that is the reason that Dewberry doesn't close him down. Pretty sure if Michael Dewberry had that situation again, he'd be closing Kevin Phillips down. You cannot afford to give Kevin Phillips that amount of space to pull the trigger.
Well, have Birmingham wrestle control of this game from Reading once and for all now. Still plenty of time for a winner to be found from somewhere. Clearing header by Henry from a disappointing free kick. There's Jaidi. Armstrong aware of McFadden's presence. Get away from Henry.
This ground got a different feel to it now. A bit of crowd involvement. Something to shout about. It is amazing what a goal can do for you.
Cleared by Armstrong, it's Nigel Quasi. Now Murphy. Phillips, Larson. Murphy. Phillips. Carsley lining up to have a go.
Well, he cracked a beauty in a way against Plymouth the other week, didn't he? It's been fresh in his mind. Noted for his goal scoring, Lee Carsley. Can't tell you what a big part in that goal he played, though.
Well, the goal he scored at Plymouth was the last winner that Birmingham had. And after the defeat by Preston, it is important they get something out of this game. So another crucial contribution from Carsley in setting up Phillips. Still plenty of menace lurking within these Reading ranks as Hunt swings in another one. It's a brilliant header from Kevin Doyle, beautifully flighted, and a fine finish to restore Reading's lead.
Well, he gets free. Now does Kevin Doyle, 15-goal top scorer in the Championship, find all that room in a Birmingham City penalty area. Not really sure what that's about, but they don't care. Look at his marking, he just drifts away from Jaidi, and he knows exactly what he wants to do. The pace is on the ball. All he's got to do is help it on, and he knows he's going to cause Mike Taylor problems. It is so deliberate, it's untrue. It's a delicate little flick, and it finds the corner. 16 goals, and they didn't hang on to that point for long, Birmingham, did they?
Well, if 4 games counts as a barren run, the barren run is over for Kevin Doyle. Just over 5 minutes between Birmingham's equaliser, which brought some celebration, but at the same time some organisation from Alex McLeish and trying to get his team to concentrate, And then a momentary lapse of concentration, allowing Doyle to get free, and the manager's hackles raised. Jaidi going for this free kick. It's Quasi. Chance for Phillips, perhaps? No, Ingemarson climbs above him and the flag was up anyway.
You felt it was going to take something spectacular for Birmingham City to score a goal, because all they've had is, I think it's 3 long-range efforts now, a couple of them from Kevin Phillips, and the strike itself was magnificent. But you do think that Reading will have learnt the lesson from that, and that they won't allow him that space. Certainly space is a thing that Kevin Doyle found in abundance in that Birmingham penalty area. As a central defender himself, Alex McLeish will be fuming with that.
Pulled out of the way then by Murphy.
Kevin Doyle was fouled before that. As the ball comes up, just have a look at Murphy's arm. He's got it all over him. He eases him out of the way. How that's not a free kick, I really don't know. And in the end, it goes the other way.
Doyle himself didn't really seem to make too much of it. So Senior away. Now Larson. Murphy, Phillips, Quasi, here's Jerome, Larson. Boot was raised then.
Well, Larson's angry, isn't he? I can't see why. His boot was so high. Bit of frustration, maybe. Bit of frustration, I think. That's all it can be. Goes over now. Does the right thing.
Well, he's a caution away from a suspension, Sebastian Larson, so he has to watch his step anyway.
A lot of frustration, I think. He miscontrols it there, and he just lifts his right boot up. It's him right in the middle. And I don't really know what he's complaining about there.
I think Rosinia's got plenty to complain about.
He's smiling anyway. They must still be all there.
Well, here comes the change for Birmingham. Quincy Owusu-Abeyi is going to take the place of James McFadden. He struggled to wield his influence on this game on his return to the side. He's missed the last 3 with a groin injury anyway. And Quincy, who's on loan from Spartak Moscow with an option to renew that in January, needs to make an impact both in the context of this game and for his future with the club, really. He's slotted straight in on the left. Header on there by Kevin Phillips, and here's Jerome looking to get the better of Armstrong. Needs support in the middle. Larson's there now with Phillips. Bided his time well. Here's Parnaby. Larson sticks out a leg, and it's turned behind in the end by the restored to fitness Rosinia.
Well, that's better from Birmingham. They're getting crosses in from higher up the pitch. They worked it well. Cameron Jerome did well when he rolled it back. Had plenty of bodies in the penalty area ready to attack that. Much better.
Cleared by Ingemarson. Quasi having a strike. Now Quincy. Quasi again. Pulled across looking for Phillips. The decision. Armstrong didn't think he got the touch.
He didn't. A little bit of pressure though. And a little bit of defending for Reading to do.
And it's Larson with the corner. Jaidi! And Quasi was looking for the follow-up, but great stop.
Well, just very, very close in. You were just waiting for the net to bulge.
There's Jaidi again. Cleared by Dewberry. Long, well, that was a no-nonsense challenge, certainly from Stuart Parnaby, from which Long just gets up. Harper's made a great break forward if they can spot him. Offside though.
This was delayed. Delayed it too long, Reading there. Alrighty, Jaidi, best chance for Birmingham. I think Dewberry slips, and that's what gives him the space, and it actually hits Cameron Jerome, does it? His own teammate as he heads this down. Is it Cameron Jerome's head? It is, and it bounces away from goal. And doesn't it make you wonder whether it's not your day when things like that happen?
Well, he couldn't get out of the way. Jerome stopped his colleague from getting the goal that would have drawn Birmingham level again, but still the pressure mounts with Quincy. Phillips is there. A header by Doyle, picking out Stephen Hunt, the combination that led to the goal. Shane Long has got forward, but it's Doyle he's picked out. Away by Parnaby.
It's great movement from Kevin Doyle. He'll be disappointed with his first touch there. Look at Quincy, arms outstretched. That's been a problem all afternoon for Birmingham.
Jerome with the throw. Here's Phillips. Jerome pulls it across. It's Phillips!
Right.
Good stop.
Brilliant all round, isn't it? Brilliant from Jerome. It's brilliant from Phillips, because it's the only place he can put this ball. And in the end, it's brilliant from Federici, and that's the first time we've had to say that this afternoon.
Larson with the corner. Away by Dewberry. Quincy.
Well, you can see what he brings to the table already, can't you? He's a sharp, lively player, loves to run at defenders. The only question mark you've got against him is, on occasion, his decision-making. That was probably one of those occasions, but a couple of crosses already in. He's teased Liam Rosigne.
Well, there is movement on both benches. Marcus Bent is going to come on for a Birmingham team left chasing the game again. And Sebastian Larson, Bent will replace here. So the two players returning after injury. Larson and McFadden neither seen through the 90 minutes, but Marcus Bent, who scored in a Wigan defeat at Reading last season, comes on to face them here with 15 minutes left in which to find an equaliser. Reading looking to hang on to what they've got and aiming to bring on Brynjar Gunnarsson. Delay while the numbers are rearranged, and it's James Henry coming on.
Well, he can be very happy and contented with his afternoon's work, young James Henry. A little bit of experience for the last 15 minutes. They've got a lead to protect. There's no doubt about it. Birmingham are going to try and throw the kitchen sink at them.
And that starts now for the final 15 minutes with this Frank Kadru free kick. Header away by Armstrong. Here's Jaidi. On the header, but Dewberry's there. Now Parnaby. Lost out to Long. Doyle, the furthest player forwards. Long was never going to get there. Jerome. Quasi. Back by Phillips. Away by Rosigne. Gunnarsson. Long pulling out wide. Taking on Kedru and then just running straight into it.
Well, he may look, but Mike Dean is absolutely spot on here. Completely lost control of the ball. He had been read by Kedru, stands his ground, but Shane Long's looking for that.
Bent was hoping for a free kick, but in fact the verdict goes the other way. Premier League action from near here tomorrow, actually. West Brom against Manchester City. First up, Sky Sports 1 and HD 1 from 1 o'clock. And that's followed by the big clash at the Emirates. Arsenal against Liverpool is live on Sky Sports 1 and HD 1. Make sure you're with us for the build-up from 3:30 tomorrow. Here's Rossini with the throw for Reading. It's back from Harper. Gunnarsson. Offside.
Well, the onus is on Birmingham now, isn't it? Clock's ticking. Backs against the wall a little bit. Under pressure just to find that goal to bring him back level with Reading here.
Hunt. And again, now Doyle. Well, great determination from Armstrong to keep this move going. Look for Hunt. Cut out though by Jaidi, but it's a Reading corner.
Gets a decent round of applause from his travelling supporters. Chris Armstrong still getting forward. That's the left back, let's not forget.
Never any real urgency at the moment from Reading with corners, free kicks, throw-ins. Doyle's in there again, so too Long. Marson Gunnarsson can be a threat in the air. Kedru getting it away at the second attempt. Back in by Cisse. Cleared though by Quasi to Phillips. He's got Quincy up ahead here. Senior to take on. Long back helping out as well.
Well, he's got pace, hasn't he, Liam Rosigne? That's the thing. Many a fullback that Quincy would be able to do very, very easily, but not Rosigne.
David Murphy's throw is in towards Marcus Bent, but Dewberry climbs to clear. Murphy. Quincy. Gets his cross away well. Phillips is there. Couldn't keep the header down though.
Right, it's difficult. Very, very difficult. He must have seen this at the very, very last minute. Again, Quincy does ever so well. Works half a yard and puts it in. Is Phillips offside? May have been offside. Gets away with it.
Well, he's risking a booking. I think he's just got one. Federici has been taking his time, shown a yellow card. Reading 10 minutes away from a huge win that will lift them above Birmingham and 4 points behind Wolves before their game this afternoon. Here's Marcus Bent though, causing problems for Ingemarson, and he couldn't lift the header over the goalkeeper.
Well, you can see exactly what Marcus Bent is trying to do here. Once Ingemarson misses this, the alarm bells are ringing. He just can't quite get the power to get that up and over Federici.
Here's Long, now Harper, here's Gunnarsson. Doyle. Cisse's in there for the crossing, gets there! And surely finishes off Birmingham and takes Reading up to second in the table.
Well, it was his mistake, wasn't it, that conceded the equaliser. all forgotten now, isn't it? Khalifa Cisse gets his reward for being really a midfielder that's prepared to get in at the back post. But that's a brilliant cross from Kevin Doyle. Parnaby has got a static jump and Cisse has got a run at this. But let's give credit to Doyle. He works it well. But Cisse's always favourite once the ball gets beyond Mike Taylor. Thinks about coming for it, doesn't he, the goalkeeper? Changes his mind. And Cisse, well, it's hard to see a way back from here for Birmingham.
Well, he knew what he wanted and he got the result he wanted, Steve Coppell.
He headed that, didn't he?
He did. Not sure if he'd been playing whether he would have reached that one. All across, wide across by Kwasi. Well, the Birmingham fans have seen the signs and they don't see any way back now. He has to keep believing, though. Well, Khalifa Cisse's 5th goal of the season. All of his previous ones have come in wins. Phillips here looking to cause a problem for Dewberry. But between them, Dewberry and Federici handling the situation. Surely now this is another win in which Cisse has scored. He did score in the win at Wolves. This, like that one, is another huge victory for Reading, which shows just how seriously they have to be taken as automatic promotion contenders to go straight back into the Premier League.
Well, they just do carry a huge goals threat everywhere they go, at home, away. That's the 9th time this season in the league they've scored 3 goals or more, and that is really impressive.
Steve Coppell, who continues to be backed by John Medeski, and between them they've found the formula for getting Reading into the Premier League in one season at least, keeping them there. They'll look for a longer term stay if they can manage it again this time around. But they found the goal scoring formula. They're now ahead of Wolves, maybe briefly. As the Championship's top scorers, 51 they've now managed in the league this season, thanks to that Cisse effort.
They'll keep going, Birmingham. If they are to get back in this game, they're going to need something very quickly.
Doyle. Now Hunt. And the flag is up against Shane Long. By Bent.
I think this is the first time Birmingham have conceded 3 this season, isn't it? Let's not forget Reading went away to Molineux and scored 3 goals. They are a serious threat.
Yes, they've certainly got plenty of goals in them, this Reading side. Maybe more joy for them here yet, who knows? This is Harper. Quincy.
What's been impressive is the way they went back at it after conceding a really sloppy equaliser when they were in total control of the game. It must have been very disconcerting, but they didn't let it affect them. They got on with it. It seems they've got their rewards.
If they keep up this form for the remaining games over the holiday period, Steve Coppell will be the standout candidate for Manager of the Month. 5 wins out of 5 in December.
Might not want it.
That's Quincy looking for Cameron Jerome. Across the face, and that was the chance to restore some life to Birmingham's hope.
Well, it was. Watch his movement at the back there. Just times his run to perfection. It's a brilliant move. He knows the keeper's there. He's got to help it to the far corner. Just gets a little bit too much on it. And it just rolls agonisingly wide. And Alex McLeish knows that was a great opportunity to give themselves a final run at this. I think we all probably knew when Jaide's header hit Cameron Jerome, it may not be Birmingham's afternoon.
Here's Gunnarsson. Well, even in their relegation year last year, Reading had a good December. They beat Liverpool. They lost just one Premier League game in the month against Spurs. And here they are again in the run-up to Christmas, sweeping aside all in front of them.
They've got 3 home games to come in the next 5 as well, and we all know how strong they are at the Majeski Stadium.
Hunt. Confusion between Gunnarsson and Harper, and it breaks here for Quincy. Up by Gunnarsson. Helped on by Doyle. Here's Phillips. Doyle. Skims past Stephen Hunt. Bent. Harper.
Silly. It's a really silly nudge in the back. And Quincy Gunnarsson is going absolutely nowhere.
Well, the Reading Christmas party last weekend got an extra swing with the news of Birmingham's defeat at Preston. And Birmingham, who've forgone their own celebrations to concentrate on the job in hand, being given a further headache here by this, what now seems certain Reading victory. Anxious times for Birmingham. They've suffered back-to-back defeats before this season. Queen's Park Rangers and Coventry beat them successively. And it looks as though they're about to experience the same again.
Well, they reacted very, very well, didn't they, to the last time it happened? And that's precisely what they're going to have to do this time.
Here's Murphy. Looking for a positive finish to the game. Just too many bodies there for him to get through in the end. And there are 3 added minutes. Closing in on a big win.
Yeah, they've been very, very impressive to come away to one of your 2 main rivals and win so convincingly. It's a very impressive thing to do.
Kedru. Bent. Quincy. That's Murphy. Ball played up by Parnaby and away by Ingemarson. Here's Cisse. Rossignol. Gunnarsson. Back by Long. Armstrong. Shane Long. Now Giroud. Carsley. Murphy. Touching moment.
Well, it is Christmas.
Here's Harper. Now Armstrong.
All the outstanding performances this afternoon have come from the men in orange, haven't they? Lots to be very proud of for Steve Coppell.
Here's Quincy. Has a go.
Not had much to do, has he? Federici, just one notable save that I can remember.
It's 5 wins out of 5 in December as Steve Coppell's Reading leap from Birmingham and go second in the table. A joyous Noel thanks to Noel Hunt with the first despite concussion, and further goals from headers from Kevin Doyle and from Khalifa Cisse, atoning for his error which led to Birmingham's original equaliser. But it's a great victory this for Reading. Birmingham 1, Reading 3.
Well, it was Birmingham that wanted to send out a message, but Reading have done just that. They scored 3 at Molineux, and they've scored 3 here at St Andrews as well for the 9th time this season, 3 or more for them, which means the table looks in Reading's favour now, doesn't it? It's swung towards them. They're into second place for the first time since September, and it's only 4 points now to Wolves, who play at 3 o'clock at Doncaster, and Birmingham drop out of the top 2. More live football to come later from the Coca-Cola Championship, and in the race for promotion as well. It's Sheffield United in 7th against the Crystal Palace side in 8th, led of course by Neil Warnock, going back to his former club. 5:15, that's Sky Sports 1 and HD1, and then there's a double from Spain as well with Real Valencia, 7 o'clock Sky Sports Extra, and Espanyol Atletico Madrid at 9 o'clock on Sky Sports Extra. 3 goals, Noel Hunt got them started and then left the field with concussion, but Kevin Doyle in the second half and Khalifa Cisse sealed it, and really didn't look in too much doubt today. Birmingham beaten. We'll hear from Dion Dublin and reaction from downstairs next. Reading have won here at Birmingham. Noel Hunt got them off to a good start in the first half before he went off with concussion. And then after Birmingham equalised, Kevin Doyle put them in front, and then Capta managed the man of the match performance by crossing for Khalifa Cisse to make it 3-1. Let's hear from both of them now with Greg Whelan.
Well, Kevin, you went to Wolverhampton Wanderers and won. How does this result compare?
It's better, you know. Further into the season, that was early in the season, come here to go ahead of them as well coming into the new year. It's sweet because we've been behind them for a while now, so it's nice to catch them at last.
Is that important to you at this stage? It is only the halfway stage, but you are up to second.
Yeah, you know, there's half of the season to go, but psychologically, coming into Christmas and playing them for the first time and have been ahead of us for so long, it means a lot to us, I'll tell you.
Now, congratulations on your goal, 16 overall, but you're first in 5 games. Were you getting a bit worried?
Not really, because we were winning. If we had been struggling and you know, not getting results, I'd been, I'm sure the manager would have started to get onto me, but it was nice to get back on the score sheet today.
Well, let's grab a very quick word with your fellow goal scorer, Khalifa Cisse. Yeah, congratulations on the goal, but the cross wasn't bad, was it?
Thank you. Yeah, cross was very bad, but and
But tell us about Birmingham's equalizer, because really you lost the ball in the first place. So did your goal help make you feel a bit better about it?
Yeah. Helped me for my feel, because after the Birmingham game goal score is my fault, because I lose the ball on midfield, and after that was very hard, very difficult for me, and after Kevin score, my feel was better.
Well, Kevin, you are up to second, as you say. At this stage, how do you rate your chances of staying there?
It's going to be difficult. Obviously, there's no point getting carried away with this. We need to keep it going now. Tough couple of games coming up, and there's no point getting excited about this if we can't win when we play on Boxing Day.
Well, congratulations on the win. You're also the parade man of the match. Khalifa, do the honours for us, please. Well done to both of you guys. Thank you.
He thought it was his to keep, didn't he, Khalifa Cisse? They're up to second for the first time since September. How impressed have you been with Reading today, Dion?
Very good. Thought they played very well. Thought the back four was very good as well. They just seemed to be more consistent in the way they passed the ball. They kept it better. And like I said before the game, I've had an inkling about Reading today. I knew it was going to be difficult, but it wasn't as difficult as they thought it was going to be.
Maybe the only black mark against them was the Birmingham equaliser, for which Khalifa Cisse was guilty of giving the ball away.
He was completely. I think it started here with Quasi's pressure, and then you got the experience of Carsley just coming into picture there. Great shoulder barge, complete strength, and then you got Phillips and just does what he does well.
Should they be backing off?
You have to back off to a certain point on the pitch. They backed off far too far.
But he just picks his spot, doesn't he? Not many can do that.
No, he doesn't, and that's what he does well. He can strike the ball very well, and Doobs will know that he should have closed him down.
Something we talked about through the game was his defensive line. What goes wrong there?
Well, Jaidi comes in from outside the box, and he's like 5 yards behind everybody else. It's a great header. Can't take it away from the cross in the box and the header. But I think Jaidi was too deep. This one's fantastic, this one.
Interestingly, again, assist from Federici, who he talked about at half-time.
It's easier to look after when you're receiving a ball like that from the goalkeeper. But this should never get in the box. With two defenders there, he shouldn't be allowed to get his crossing. He gets a fantastic crossing. Mike Taylor, a little bit hesitant. Shall I come? Shall I stay? He comes 2 or 3 yards.
Which should he have done?
He should have gone all the way. I'm not a goalkeeping coach, but he'll look at that and he'll say to himself, my first thought was right. I should have took the ball, took everything and got hold of the ball and slowed the game down a little bit.
Let's hear from the winning manager, Steve Coppell, with Greg Whelan.
Steve, that's 5 wins out of 5 now. What credit do your players deserve today?
Well, it's just a hard place to come and play football. Birmingham have been ahead of us in the league before today. And after 23 games, you're not there by accident. They're a very committed squad. And I just thought we played well today. We, defensively, we didn't give much away. We were tight. And I always felt we were fairly dangerous going forward.
How important was it to score when you did fairly early in the game today?
You can't be selective. You just try and score whenever you can. Psychologically, I think it was obviously a good time. The game was sort of bitty in the first half. The pitch is a little bit bobbly and it's hard to run with the ball. But we created a couple of chances. I remember Kevin Doyle having one volley in the first half, which was some really good play. Very pleasing to go in at half-time in front.
How significant would you say this result is, and what should your players take from it?
Zero significance, and take nothing from it. There's still an awful long way to go. We got a good feeling now in the dressing room, don't get me wrong, but we all appreciate that this is the marathon, the ultra marathon. And if the last thing we want to be is seen as a good team in December. We want to be seen as a good team and right up at the top end in May.
Steve, well done today.
Thank you very much.
Ebenezer Coppell not getting carried away, is he, Dion? Is it significant?
I think it's personally significant for the players. They'll take away and think, well, we played well today. We can really challenge for this, And I think it's down to the way they approach games. They beat Wolves away. They beat Birmingham away. They're going to go away thinking, well, hold on a minute. Let's just have a look at it. You can't get too carried away because it is only 23 games halfway in the season. Big stage to go yet. Big stages to go yet. And I think they can go all the way if they continue to do this.
Well, the table shows that they are closing the gap on Wolves as well. Do you think they could actually go above Wolves? Will that be their target?
Yeah, of course. Of course it is. They've got a long way. I think Wolves are the team at the moment in the league. But Reading can But Wolves have got a game today, later on today. So let's just see how that goes.
They're at Doncaster today, and would you expect them to win there?
Yeah, you would expect Wolves to win anywhere they go at the moment in the form they're in. But with Reading on their heels now, who knows?
On the other side of the coin, from the Birmingham perspective, if Steve Coppell is saying that's not significant from their point of view, how damaging could that defeat be today?
For Birmingham, it'll be damaging. They'll be hurt that they lost the game today in the manner they lost it to, and they conceded 3 goals at home as well, which they won't be happy with. Fans leaving when the second goal goes in. It's not nice to see at all. But they will go away from here thinking, hold it, we played bad today. Let's go away, train right, and get things right on Boxing Day.
Reading have scored 18 goals more than Birmingham at this halfway stage, +1, if you like. Can we read something into that?
Yes, it's not. I
mean, what would you rather have at this stage, Dion? A team that's scoring goals or a team that's keeping clean sheets?
Well, you've got to score goals. You've got to score goals. Clean sheets are great, but it's not pretty. And if you've got someone scoring goals, fantastic. You've got a chance.
Dion, thanks very much for being with us. Merry Christmas to you as well.
Thank you.
More football coming up today from the Championship, because it's Sheffield United against Crystal Palace at 5:15. Sky Sports 1 and HD1 with the Neil Warnock factor there as well. And then from Spain, it's Real Madrid Valencia, 7 o'clock on Sky Sports Extra. Espanyol Atletico Madrid, 9 o'clock on Sky Sports Extra. A double from the Premier League tomorrow. West Brom Man City, 1 o'clock Sky Sports 1 and HD1. Super Sunday from the top of the Premier League. It's Arsenal Liverpool, 3:30 Sky Sports 1 and HD1. Darts World Championship in full swing right now on Sky Sports 2 and HD2, with the defending champion already gone last night. And there's live rugby union as well, with Bath Sale right now, Sky Sports 3 and in high definition as well. First, Noel, and then 2 other wise men have made it a happy Christmas from Reading. Goodbye from us all.
This is a song for all of my close friends, anonymous neighbors with stories to tell. I didn't realize I had so many close friends, nameless and shameless with hearsay to sell. What's the fuss? You gotta be in it to win it. I want pride, but I know I'll never get it. Fame, I wanna live for 15 minutes. I want love, but my heart's not in it. If only it was lonely at the top. I've got too much, but it's never enough. If only it was lonely at the top. If only I